Kathy is a mother of two who also has deep regrets about time loss. Kathy, what's your story?
My husband was diagnosed with glioblastoma in February of 2020. And I think my biggest regret was it took something like that to realize how I was not really present most of my life. I did have the good fortune of spending he actually lasted 23 months, and which is unheard of, a glioblastoma. But I felt like all the time before that, raising my two wonderful children, one's a teacher in the Bronx, one's an aspiring actress in LA, that I just was going through checking lists, like trying to even like outrun myself with accomplishing things. And it took my husband, who was coming home saying, I have a headache. And I'm like, take Tylenol, I got something to do. It took something like getting the diagnosis February 20th of 2020 of glioblastoma to say, like, stop, just stop. And I feel like I want to forgive myself. My kids are wonderful. We had a wonderful relationship, but I go back and I think to myself, I wish I would have just really just savored the moments, the unbelievable moments. Sorry.
Take your time. Just take your time.
And you know what? I try to recover. Like, we took everyone. Joe was the most wonderful, kind person. Like, I was so lucky to have him in my life, and wonderful father. But I think to myself, well, part of me doing this is because he deserves, like, to continue to live, if you will. And I think his legacy deserves not to disappear. But I go back and I say, why did I not just stop? I don't know what it is. Is it a woman thing that, like, you're trying to just outdo yourself? You have a million things going on. You're working full time. You're raising kids. And like, I just wish it didn't take something like a devastating diagnosis and subsequent loss.
Oh, Kathy.
To make me stop.
Kathy. Thank you so much for being willing to share. And this is a podcast about the power of regret. Daniel Pink has written a really important book with a profound study about regrets all over the world. So naturally, you're going to have tears, and we appreciate you being so open to share today, because you're gonna really help a lot of other people to see themselves differently because of what you've shared here. What category is this? What?
So I think this is a connection regret. It's a regret about not doing something to keep a relationship intact. The best remedy for this, I think, is something called self-compassion. Self-compassion is very simple. Treat yourself with kindness rather than contempt. It's that simple, all right? And so if you think about your self-talk, what is your self-talk, my hunch, Kathy, is cruel, it's vicious, it's mean-spirited, all right? Here's what the research on self-compassion says about that kind of self-talk. Don't do that, all right? And the reason to don't do that is because it's not effective. What's effective is self-compassion. And a way to think about that is to take it, if you had a friend who came to you with this situation, what would you tell her?
Yeah, you're doing the best you can, right?
Exactly.
Like, and that's, you know what, I feel like I know I focused when it was important, and ours was a love story to be told. And it's just like, I think about when he used to go food shopping, and I didn't really appreciate it. I hate food shopping. And every time I'm going down and fighting people for a loaf of bread, I'm like, oh my God, Joe, like, why didn't I just like really appreciate you doing this? Or painting the house. I made him paint this house like 55 times. And you know what? We were good, and we said what we had to say to each other, and there was nothing left unsaid. But yeah, I just hope I could share with other people that, like, all this stuff we run around and do is just so not important.
Yeah, you can share with other people. Also, I think one of the lessons for regret, particularly when it comes to relationships, it's very simple to articulate. So when in doubt, reach out. So if there's somebody you're thinking about and you're saying, should I give that person a call? In any part of your life, if you reach that juncture, the answer is yes, do it. There's also something to be said for saying it now. You have a regret about not saying something at the moment, so say it now. And the best way to help other people is to exemplify that behavior by reaching out and by saying it now. The other thing, I'm sorry, but don't disrespect the work you did building a career and building a family. I mean, that's actually really important. And I don't want you to think of that as something that was somehow a betrayal of your husband or your family. It was something that actually fortified your husband and family.
Well, one of the things that really has struck me about what you were saying earlier, I can't believe that this is what it took. And yeah, this is what it took. This is what it took. Yeah. This is what it took for you to slow down and to stop and to want to live a more present-filled life and to be there in a way for the rest of your family and for yourself in ways that you could not before. So yes, this is what it took. And the reason you know that is because this is now where you are. You've had that realization. Yeah. And so I say, bless your husband for being able to bring this to light for you so that the rest of your days can be spent in a fullness of being for yourself that you would not have had you not had this experience. This was his parting gift to you, not to be regretted, but to be embraced. Yeah. Not to be regretted.
Well, he's a gift that keeps on giving. As Andrew Garfield says about his mom, Joe is the best of us.
Yeah, nice. That's great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kathy.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Kelly, a mom to one teenage son, says that she is constantly haunted by the what ifs, the what ifs, the what ifs. Tell us about that, Kelly.
Hi, thank you both so much for taking the time to speak with me today. I really appreciate it. This is, I was young. I married my high school sweetheart in my early 20s, and he was in the military, and I became an officer's wife in 2001, and this was right before 9/11 happened. So at that time, the priority seemed that the priority should be his career. It should be the things that were going on at the time. So I stepped back. I played small. I played the supporting role, and I continued doing that for years. And I don't, what I was doing felt like it was valuable. It was important, that it was serving a purpose. And I was grateful for the people and experiences that I had. But when my husband left, I was not prepared necessarily for the life that I had at that moment of making myself a priority. And it's been a struggle since.
Left meaning divorce? Divorce?
Okay. Yes. Okay. So I keep asking myself, well, what if I had finished my degree before I had gotten married? What if I had gone back to school at any point? What if I had listened to my intuitions? What if I had stood up for myself? And what if I saw value in my place in my marriage and what I was doing at that time? And how would that have better prepared me for the life that I was living afterwards? And so even now, I still struggle. Like I still struggle to make the things that I value, my art and my writing. I still struggle to make them the way that I want and put them out there without trying to make myself small and fit in. So I feel like I'm on the cusp of this new transformation of moving forward still, and it's still holding me back. That what if I had done these things earlier? Would I be better prepared?
I heard you told the producers that you feel like you've spent most of your adulthood in the passenger seat. And so you're asking, what if you'd actually taken the driver's seat?
That's right. Yes. What if I, even at different points, even if I had just taken the driver's seat and said, you know what, I want to go back and I want to finish my degree. And I wanted to start a career. What if I had done any of those things at various different points through those years?
Well, you're not alone, because in Daniel's study of people throughout the world, this is the what ifs is a big
and it's kind of a boldness regret. That is, making yourself small is in some ways the opposite of being bold. And we have a lot of regrets in this database, Kelly, that just reminds me of people using the phrase speak up, speaking up, spoken up. So what would it mean for you to not be small right now? Not an emotion, but an action. What would that mean? What step would you want to take?
I finished a book. I'm about 110,000 words in, and I have it, and I'm right on that verge of feeling like I want to get it out there, but there's something that keeps still holding me back from.
Okay, can I get in here? All right.
You're in here. You have the mic, sir.
Okay, so this is sort of out of the pages of my own book.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something that I tell to my daughters when they were younger. I have 2 daughters and a son. Something I told my daughters when they were younger, and they were like, "Oh, I don't know if I should apply for this. I don't know whether I should ask to be a research assistant. I don't know if I." And I say to them, "What would a mediocre guy in your situation do?" And it was always like, raise their hand.
Yes.
And it's like, so what would a mediocre guy, believe me, a mediocre guy in your situation who's written 110,000 words would already be out there. So you need to be out there and like doing everything you can to get that book out there so you can be a guest on season 3 of this podcast.